The summer rolls on. It's Chair Shot Reality on Wrestling Inc. Catch us on the YouTube channel as well as an audio version all across Wrestling Inc. Platforms. You can subscribe on iTunes or wherever you fancy. I am Justin LeBar here in Pittsburgh. He's Josh Eisenberg down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Josh, as we continue on getting closer and closer to SummerSlam, let's talk about some of the headlines going on that are pretty much outside the ropes, not related to booking. And we unfortunately have to start with some sad news. Two notable deaths in the pro wrestling world on the same day this past weekend. Brian Lawler, known to wrestling fans as Brian Christopher, son of Jerry Lawler, died at a very young age 46, after what's reportedly an attempted hanging while he was in a corrections facility, and then that led ultimately to his passing. And then Nikolai Volkoff, wrestling legend, passing away at age 70. Reaction, memories, anything for these two?
Yeah, I mean, Nikolai Volkoff obviously is one of the guys in WWE that was one of the natural heels, the born heel that people love to hate, but outside, everybody says he's one of the nicest guys in the business, which is interesting to hear. Obviously, passing away at 70 years old, I don't have much of a memory of a great moment of Nikolai Volkoff that I can remember, personally seeing it live, obviously. But Brian Christopher, Brian Lawler, completely different story, Justin, because this is a guy that the past couple of years was haunted by some bad habits and some addictions, and tried to get help. And again, another guy that has been told is such a great guy, such a nice guy, and had some demons that he couldn't get past. I mean, some of the great memories of Too Cool and Rikishi. I mean, you can never forget some of that great stuff in the Attitude Era. That may not necessarily have been the best actual wrestling or storytelling, but it could have been the most popular segments of the night. And I think that's something that Brian Christopher and Scotty 2 Hotty and Rikishi can always hold on. As much as it was controlled by Rock, Austin, and all these people, it was always going to be Brian Christopher dancing and these guys putting on a performance in a show. So it was exciting to see.
Yeah, Nikolai Volkoff, as you said, a natural true heel. I was fortunate to meet him a few times as a kid. One of my fond memories of him is actually a little bit of a comedy. It was him doing the $1 Million Man's corporation and faction in the mid-'90s, right around 94 or 95. And then Brian Christopher, him and Scotty 2 Hotty got paired together basically because they faced each other in the light heavyweight tournament, I believe it was, and then that kind of spiraled into them being a tag team, and then it really evolved into the overact. It was one of the most overacts that people would go to each event and want to see the dance, see the worm, see the shovel, see Rikishi slapping that big ass. So yeah, unfortunate. I really feel for obviously his dad, Jerry Lawler. Nobody should have to bury a child, and Jerry Lawler's obviously has dealt with his own stuff to do. Not personally. Jerry Lawler's always been a pretty good, stayed away from that kind of stuff. But, having to deal with the heart attack and things he's had going on in his personal life, certainly sad stuff to see take place. Someone who was released from WWE earlier this year, Big Cazz. Well, so far his first post-WWE appearance has been advertised for a show in September, and he will be known as Big Cazz, 2 Z's. I don't know where I'm at with this one. I know that they have to. I know they want to stay close to what made him famous, but couldn't we go with Big C? Couldn't we go with I don't know, something else? Cazz.
Dirty, mind you. So whenever I first read about this, I was interesting because, everybody wanted to see Big Cazz outside of WWE because he's been very quiet. And he hasn't really come out and said this happened or that happened. We've heard stories from everybody else really except Big Cazz. The name change to me is just an attempt of him trying to be as close to Big Cazz as possible. It's going to be interesting to see how well he does on the indie scene. He was popular, but he was never as popular without Enzo Amore next to him. In an independent scene, the name will carry yourself for so long. You know this better than everybody. He's going to get some paydays. He's going to be booked for a while. But I do think that people in the indies care more about, the in-ring abilities. And Big Cazz isn't a guy that can go from bell to bell. And a guy, what's going to happen with him after 7 or 8 months on the indie scene? Are people really going to care to see Big Cazz? I don't know if they will.
Well, I will say I think the first 3 to 6 months on the indie scene is going to be critical for him because while he didn't hold the reputation in WWE for being like this guy bell to bell is going to put on Broadways. Granted, I do think he did okay with Dan O'Brien on his way out. If he can maybe show some things in his arsenal that maybe he just didn't do because it didn't fit his character in WWE or what have you. If he can have 3 to 6 months where some videos go viral and it's like wow, you got to see him against this other indie guy that's been more proven, then that could certainly change the game. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting few months for him to see how he translates over because of course he comes off as the more typical WWE guy with the size and such, and there's not a lot of guys of his size that are indie darlings, so to speak. So, but the landscape is constantly changing right now in pro wrestling. So, what's that?
No Wardlow.
Yes, no, of course not. He doesn't have war in his name. He has ass. He doesn't have war in his name. Kane, this one, and I still, we kind of knew it was going to happen, but this is still just so fun and crazy to say. The Devil's favorite demon, Kane, played by Glenn Jacobs, of course, is now officially the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Is this the end of Kane, the masked character in WWE?
No, I don't think so. I think
as well as the mayor.
Well, I think we might see some. He's not going to be back doing like regular storylines, but I think that we'll see him maybe come back for like a Rumble appearance or, little one-offs. If Pete Rose is at WrestleMania in New York next year, he comes out. I still think we'll see. I still think we'll still see some one-offs, but no, he won't be doing anything steady right now because he's going to have the mayor obligations. Yeah. But I don't see any reason why he's not going. He didn't shy away from using WWE to get himself elected. He did a fundraising, the meet and greet, a rare meet and greet with he and the Undertaker. Matt Hardy did. All of his buddies did stuff to help, and he used fire as his logo. He used his music to take the podium. So he's not hiding away from what he is when he puts that mask on.
Well, it needs to be one more storyline for Kane. Obviously, congratulations to him. This is great. I think it's really good for WWE as a whole as well, having a guy in such a high role. You have the Linda McMahon and her position, in Congress, and Vince McMahon, obviously. But it's nice to see somebody like Kane that actually has a surprising background. And I know his wife's in realty, and he's in realty, and now he's with this as the mayor of Knox County. But my last thing is going to be one more match. What is his retirement match? It's going to be interesting to see if they give him something like that. It'll have to be something that is contradicting what you're saying, is saying he can come back here and there. But it could be time for maybe one more Kane run in about a year or two, and just have 3 or 4 months of the big red machine, or the demon's favorite playground, whatever the hell you want to call him these days. I think he deserves that, and then obviously setting his place rightfully into the WWE Hall of Fame. But
I don't know. The residents might be fine with him using WWE to get himself elected, but I don't know how they're going to feel if he's taking 1 day a week for several weeks out to go travel wherever to put on this. I don't know that might also hurt him again when he goes to get reelected. So I don't know, but nonetheless, we're going to see him again in WWE. This isn't the end of it, and even when his political aspirations are done, unless he continues to move up the ladder, I think we will get one more at least farewell story eventually. But I'd be shocked to see a steady story in the next year.
Well, it's not as shocking to me if I saw that compared to what the news and the rumors are of WWE paying, quote, people saying that they're paying fans to cheer Roman Reigns and to not have their anti-Roman Reigns signs. Justin, take the floor.
Well, this is funny because it kind of contradicts what all the Roman Reigns haters say. For 1 minute, they've been telling us that nobody cheers for Roman and it's failed and Vince is out of touch. But now they're saying that over $5 million or something has been paid to get people to cheer. How does that even work? Some guy from WWE hands you a $20 bill, and then what happens if you don't cheer? And or whatever. This makes no sense. It makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense to me. It's just fans trying to latch onto something, and another reason that they're bitching and complaining that Roman Reigns is facing Brock Lesnar. I wonder what it's going to take for the marks out there just to stop with the Roman Reigns bitching. Will it ever stop? It's not even cool anymore to pretend like he's not a good wrestler. For the first couple of years it was like, oh, he's not that great of a wrestler, and he'll put on good matches still, but he still does the same thing. But when's it going to not be cool or funny anymore? Because
no, and it's a great question, and it's no coincidence that this randomly got started by. In fact, I think one of the Yahoos that started on Twitter, I looked at his bio, and his bio was all about New Japan, blah blah blah, and actually says FWWE. So it's no coincidence that it's coming also after a Monday Night Raw where Roman actually did get some cheers, where the booking of what they did with Brock and Paul Heyman painted Roman in a light where people were like, all right, I'm going to cheer for Roman in this situation. So I don't think that's a coincidence that this all of a sudden sparked up. But Roman is a good worker. We can certainly, and we have, and we will continue. You can pick apart where WWE's going right or wrong with the options of booking him and what to do. But to say that he's a failure, to say that, I don't think they realize how much money he actually draws in for the company, and that's not a failure.
boy. That's why they don't care, because it's not their boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miami is a mixed melting pot of fans, and he got cheered at the end. And WWE did a really good job of doing that on Monday. I don't think it's going to consistently stay like that, but kudos to WWE for doing something that's actually getting Roman Reigns some more interaction and some more positive interaction from the fans.
Well, we'll talk about what they did this past Monday that seemed to strike a chord. It was Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, dissension going in the ranks amongst these two. It looks like we could be headed for a breakup. We'll talk about that in the next video of what that means for Brock and Paul Heyman's future. And still to come, we'll also talk about Ronda Rousey. She's going to have her Raw in-ring debut this Monday. And then also on Tuesday, we're moving forward with the women's title on SmackDown, where Charlotte Flair has been added to the match. Is that it, or are we going to go to a fatal four-way? We'll talk about it all. He's Josh Eisenberg. I'm Justin LeBar. Keep on watching.